You describe a way of life in your traditional land, which was not seasonal, but seemed to be year-round, from hunting to fishing to trapping and back again. But it was a full occupation. And this how it went. It was not a seasonal occupation as you went criminals for it. Was a full-time way of life.
I think your question was that, I think you said that you started off shopping, and with the shopping you started farming. Otherwise, I guess I was confused. Hey, Carlo, or John, okay,
Can you ask him to expand on that? Turn down. In all your years of living in Cold Lake, what impact did you feel at the closing of the Primrose area to hunting, fishing, and traps thing from the Cold Lake people had on the community? What changes did you see happening? Because you are a man who can adapt. What did you see happening to the people of Cold Lake when they lost the use of the Primrose area?
Neodark country. Don't a town on the difference and don't study, Nida don't on the difference. Those who Nida don't be loved. Nida and do it. Teach you will a child will be dressed for honor. What did it get for me? I said, Guadana story to God, but she is something. Therefore, me, dear. She another this is very funny. It's fully. They got a little hard work for me. I see who did I should go on. Now, another people. I see, I don't want to hunt I don't know why.
Thank you. Commissioner Prentice, do you have any questions? No questions? Once again, we want to thank you for taking the time to come before this commission and tell about your past and your experiences. You've helped us very much. Our education is better, and for that we thank you. So unless you have anything further to say, you're excused. Thank you very much.
Not to you.
It's now 12:30. First, I'd like to thank the other others who are waiting to get their testimony for their business. We'll certainly get to the meeting after lunch. Mayor, suggested the meeting is 2:15.
Okay, 2:15 is fine. So, what we'll do now we'll reconvene, we'll adjourn now, and we'll reconvene at 2 o'clock. Okay? Thank you.
And when they got the letter, we got a response. And we heard that we were getting that money. And the first time we got paid, I remember that for the Indians. We used to go to Primrose, to Pearsland, Saskatchewan, because it was open there. Of course, everybody had to celebrate. I was there too. Here's to our success. That was my first drink, Ernest and I. We made it. We felt pretty good for making it because, you know, we were not a lawyer, but we did, I think, the work of a lawyer. And I really felt good about that I could have done, that I did something for these people. It wasn't any more than we got before, but we did get something. But as far as I know, when my husband went to the meetings, he always said that they told them, like the Indian department told them that this was only for 20 years that they were leasing this land. And so they, in a way, some of them thought that was okay. You know, they didn't get very much, but they figured, well, maybe that isn't so bad, but it's only for 20 years. But this is 40 years. Where's the rest of it? How can we go on? What are we going to do for these children? Look at all even the children that comes from my side. Look at all those children. What are they going to do in the future? I think if anything comes out of this today, I think whatever I say today is for the rest of my life. Today, if we cannot get to some agreement, I think we failed. But anyway, if it ever comes to this, I do hope that this won't happen to us again, just to be something taken away from us, just overnight. I hope that if ever the day comes, maybe I won't even be here, but I do hope that when that day comes, if it ever does, that there's enough of my people that are educated and enough people that are here to make a good negotiation so that our children will have something to have for the rest of their life. This trapping and fishing, it's gone. I mean, as far as Primrose is concerned. But I do hope that we never have to lose our fishing rights, because we still have that, and that's still part of our tradition, and we just love, even to go and camp at the lake, boy, that makes us feel good, and we can fish. Even that, we used to go and fish in French Bay. Even there, I was fishing there. One day, these fish and wildlife, there was two of them. And this young guy come up to me and he says, hey, he said, you better watch what you're doing. He said, you know, next year you're not going to be allowed in here. Hey, buddy, I said, I was here before you. I was here many years before you. You listen to me. Some of our people were born right here in French Bay. And from that time, ever since I can remember, we fished there. I said, and all of a sudden you, out of the blue, come and tell us we can't fish there anymore. I said, I'll talk to somebody older than you. So anyway, there was the older guy, I talked with him and I told him, I said, even if they're going to make a park, they're going to make a park out of this place. And I said, even if they make the park, I wish somebody could talk for us. Tell them that we want this fishing ground. We've always had it and we want it at least 2 weeks in the fall and 2 weeks in the springtime. That's when we used to go. And I said, we don't want to be charged to have to get food for ourselves. But they never did that. They did chose it. And when we go in there to camp now, I think they have to pay. But anyway, these, you know, there's been so many things that have been hurting. And I don't ever remember of the national defense to come and speak with the people or anything. I don't remember. But 2 years ago, they came to the reserve. They wanted a crew to go up there and bomb me. They had lost some bombs. Who did they come to? Our people. They came here to get a crew to go up there and to look for those bombs. So, why can't they come back and say, oh, we didn't give you enough for what you lost, you know. Here we are. They could say that to us someday, you know, then we'd feel good. But I don't know if I'll ever see the day. But I do hope that whatever becomes of this, I do hope that it will be sooner than we think. And we don't want to wait another 20 years to have something out of it. You know, that's too long. Well, me, I'll be gone, I'm sure, by then. But anyway, I hope, I don't know, we don't know, but we do hope that at least there's a little spark left here. We gotta make it go on. So, with that, I would like to thank everyone for taking their time to listen to me. And if I can put my point through to anyone here, I'll be very happy. Thank you. And if you have any questions to ask me, I'm here.
Yes, I believe, Mr. Janice, that there may be a few questions, and we'll start with Mr. Anderson.
So you said at the beginning that your mother was originally from Cold Lake?
Yes.
And you yourself grew up at Fort Simpson?
I was 12 years old when I left Fort Simpson.
And was it your mother that taught you to speak Chihuahua?
Yes. You know, when your mother's an Indian, you're brought up like an Indian. You think like an Indian, and everything you do, you know, the Indian way.
Did your mother, I'm sure she did, but did you recall what your mother used to tell about her childhood growing up in Cold Lake?
About what?
About your mother growing up here when she was young? What her family did?
Yes. Well, she used to tell us like Primrose Lake was a very dear place to her because that was where they had, well, her folks had, you know, they were up there just about all the year round, and they used to go fishing and trapping. And it's kind of interesting. When she went to school here, my father was her teacher, and he married her. After, on this reserve, so that was kind of cute.
When you moved back, you were only 12 then, so it would be a few years later that you married. Your husband's name was Mr. Ben Michaud?
Yes, we got married in 41. I was 20 years old. And I lived with him 50 years. We celebrated our 50th anniversary. He didn't make a year after. On the 14th of July, 1941 we were married. So last year, 1941, we celebrated on the 13th because it was more convenient for our children to be all back. Because there are some that are still going to school. And, but he didn't make a year after. On the 1st of June, the next year, this year he died.
Up to the time the bombing range was closed off, he did trapping. He was a trapper part of the year, at least, in Primrose Lake.
Yes.
And fishermen as well?
Yes.
Did he have both licenses?
Yes, he did. He had a registered trap line, and he had what do you call commercial fishing license. And this is that's another thing too. You know, when he fished every year since he got that trap line, a fishing license, since he got that registered fishing license, well, he fished every year, and anyway, he was still one of those commercial fishermen, and when after the bombing range had closed, they wanted to go fishing because that was a good lake to fish, and they made a lot of money there. So the people wanted to go back fishing, so they went to see the Department of National Defense, and the chief and council went to see them, and they told them what the people wanted. So this is how they opened that place. They opened the place for them during the holidays, during Christmas and New Year's. So my husband, he still went fishing. As long as that opened, he was there. And you know, what I didn't think was fair was the people from Saskatchewan, the fishermen from Saskatchewan, when they were too old to fish anymore, they retired, their children got a license. And us, once Ben didn't go fishing, he got too old to fish. We have 3 boys. He was trying to get a license for them, but they said no. When you're finished, you're finished. Nobody can carry on. Well, how come that they can't carry on when the white man can carry on? And we were there before them. That's another thing that was not fair to us. And every Christmas, Ben made a nice pile of money to bring home. And with that money, you know, we saved that money and, you know, we bought whatever we wanted. To have to feed 10 children, you've got to have a few bucks. But we never went hungry, never. We were very, very independent, very. And even us at home here, when we stayed home here, the women, what we did, we went out, we snared rabbits while they were gone, and then they started to buy rabbit hides. They were 5 cents for rabbit hides. But heck, some of those women, they made quite a bit of money, you know, because with 5 cents, you could buy something, even 5 cents. I know you could buy a little package of cigarettes for 5 cents. And things were cheap, you know. And the Indians, they never wasted anything. Even when we got the flour, we got them the bags were made out of cloth. With that cloth, the women made their underwear, their lingerie today. If not, they were used for dish towels and towels. We made good use of everything that we got, so nothing was wasted.
Commissioners ever had access to this information?
Well, some of them used to get teased, you know. There was some flour they called 4X. That was the cheapest flour you could get. And some of those old ladies used to say, well, she's got a 4X. No matter how poor we were, we always had time to joke. And we never be sad, you know, for anything. Maybe because we believe in the Creator, someone has to look after us. Maybe this is what has carried us this far.
If that may be the case. You mentioned the independence and the self-reliance and the various resources that people used before the bombing range was closed. How did that change for your family afterwards?
Well, like I say, my husband always seemed to find a job someplace, you know. He worked on the reserve, I don't know how many years he worked on the reserve, like doing the farming for the people. And then they used to go out in the fall, they used to go out thrashing and stooking, you know, for the white people. And, you know, not bragging, these people here were noted to be the best, the smartest people. People away from Lloydminster or all over. They came here every time they needed men because they know that they were dependable and they were good workers. And I'll say that for these people. Nobody were as proud of people as they are, as they were. And you know, I remember the first time we got a welfare check. I remember. My youngest son was born. I was in the hospital. That was in 1961. And my daughter came to visit me and she said, Mom, you know, they're giving checks out to everybody. And I said, well, what is it for? And she said, well, I don't know. She said, I think it's welfare or something. And I remember it was $100. And for people with 10 children, got $100. And I didn't want to spend it. I said, gee, that's a disgrace. We can't take that money for nothing. But Mom, you know, this is Christmas. Mom, it's okay, just use it, she told me. Otherwise, I was not going to take it. Because I didn't like the idea that somebody has to feed us. We had men that look after us. We didn't need no handouts. And here all of a sudden we're getting a handout. Well, that hurt. I know that hurt the pride of these people because they were so independent. And nowadays it just seems natural that you don't work to get a welfare check, you know. And people, young people are in that lineup. That, I don't know, that's something else for me. Why don't they find something to make them work? They're capable. I know they're capable. And here they are in the lineup, the bread line. That's no good for us. That's why I say, if ever anything comes out of this, I hope that someday that these young people, they're man, they can hold their head up and say, nobody's feeding me. I'm the man of the house. That's what I want to do. That's what I wish to do. Which maybe, I don't know, maybe we're too spoiled now, I don't know. But I wish that someday that if that my dream could come true, I'd be happy. I'll die happy then.
I just want to ask a few questions about the committee you worked with that sent the letter out to Ottawa.
Yes, there was only 3 of us. There was the chief and Ernest and I. Well, really, Ernest and I did most of the things. You know, we did it, but we'd ask his opinion, you know, when we did it. And I was teasing these lawyers. I said, boy, you know, we did this in 6 months. I said, how long has it taken you? I said, I think you better get advice from us.
We'll give Mr. Madden a chance to respond later. The chief at that time was Harry Young, yes?
Yes.
And you worked, I believe, or had your meetings at the priest's house, and his name was CLFN?
Father Calvez.
Calvez.
Yeah. C-A-L-V-E-Z.
O-D-E-Z.
Yeah.
And through your efforts working over that time, you had put together a letter which proved to have some effect. Mm-hmm. Do you remember what was in the letter? You know, it's
not
30 years ago.
Not really. You know, that's a long time.
That's right.
There was just... you know, I'm very sorry today that I never kept nothing.
Well, I think we can get a copy of the letter. I was just asking if you remember what
Well, well, like all these meetings and that have been taking place, you know, I had a record of all that, but it's all destroyed. Because, well, I thought there was no more use for it. I never thought that someday maybe it would have been useful. You know, when you're young, you don't care. You just think, well, oh, just more junk to hang around. So it was destroyed. But anyway, I'm glad I still got my memory that I can say what I want today. And if whatever I say helps these people, that's all I want.
Just going to ask one more question, if I help the commission. Now, you mentioned French Bay. Where is French Bay exactly?
Well, French Bay is a long coal lake. It's part of Coal Lake, but it's an inlet, like, you know, it comes off Coal Lake.
Thank you.
But it's not in the bombing range or anything. That part I'm talking
I don't have any more questions myself, ma'am. If there's anything that I haven't asked you about that you wanted to say, of course, want to make sure that you have the opportunity to do that.
Well, I think I've said my piece, and like I say, if anything comes of it, we would like to get a response. Whether it's going to do us good or not, we want to know what's going to happen in the future, you know. Because if we're still here, some of us, maybe if there's any negotiations, maybe we could be of value to them, to speak for our children. And this is why I don't want you to wait till I'm gone to come back, if you do come back. Okay, thank you very much.
Excuse me, the commissioners may have a few questions for you.
Okay.
Trust me, I think we do. We appreciate your patience. Mrs. Machadas, I have a couple of questions myself. When you mentioned that they were going to take our land, and that's you said that Ben came to you and said they were going to take our land and make it into a bombing range. I just have a couple of questions regarding that. When you said they, who do you think they were?
Well, I see my husband is the one that told me.
Yes.
And he said the Indian Department, you know, the people from Indian Affairs told them this, he said, that they had a meeting, I guess, but I didn't go to that meeting. But they had this meeting, and that's when they were told that they were going to take the bombing range, and so they... But the thing is, I don't know how they distributed that money. That's beyond me. You know, what questions did they ask them? And did they understand what they were doing? Because the ones that trapped all their lives, they got so little. Some of them, they just blew off their check, you know, it was about $200 or $300. Boy, I think if I was in their boots, I'd do the same thing. Because how far could you go?
They blew it up? What do you mean?
I mean, they drank it up.
Oh, I see.
And then after that, then to punish them, that's how they made these vouchers. The next payment, oh, you blew your check, now you get a voucher. why punish them? If you got, for all the years you've worked and all you've lost over there, you've got $300 check, boy, I don't think I would sit back and just save that little check. I think I would have just drank it up too like they did. At least they got one half and free out of it.
Following along with Ms. Quintana's question, after learning who they were, I hope this doesn't sound as an obvious question, but or requires an obvious answer, but I'm not sure I would know the answer to this as well. But if you can go back to when your husband mentioned that they were going to make a bombing range, did you know what a bombing range was? Did anybody know what a bombing range was?
Well, the way they explained it, that it was like they said that well, in Chipon, I could say it right, but I don't know if I can say it the way I want to in English. But I knew what a bombing range was.
I mean, did you know that what they were going to do is like, experiment with dropping bombs on it?
No, we didn't know that. But they just said like the Air Force, well, to them it was just like the Army and the Air Force, it all seems like it's people that are working for the good of the country. That's how we understood it to be. And so, we had an old lady, she was real old, we used to look after. Her name was Rosalie Andrew. And a lot of times, when we were troubled or something, we always went to her and we asked questions to her, And I was telling her, they're going to take our trapping, where everybody used to go and trap all that Primrose Lake, they're going to take it away from the people. And the Air Force are going to take it, it's the people for the good of the country, they're taking this. And she said, if it's for something good, she said, I guess it should be okay.
How did you know that it was going to be for the good of the country? What made
Well, we know that when they have armies and Air Force, that they're the ones that fight for our country. That's how I understand it anyway. And that's how the rest of them understood it too.
And that's the way it was explained to you?
Yeah. So if we were giving up for a good cause, then that was okay with us, Never dreaming how much we'd lose though.
You mentioned, and it's been mentioned before by other people that have been before this commission, that there was a belief that was actually only going to happen for 20 years. Mm-hmm. And then did you think that the land was going to be for your band again?
Well, this is what I thought, that after 20 years, if they didn't have no more use for this land, they would give it back to us. That was what I'm sure all the people that I spoke to, they had that in mind. So to them, they said, well, 20 years isn't really that long. So they didn't know it was going to go on for this long.
Thank you very much. I think the other commissioners may have a question. I'll first turn to Commissioner Belberg.
The question I have deals with the farm For my clarification, when your late husband and the 3 other men were working on developing the farms, was that before or after the Primrose Lake area was closed to traffic?
That was before, that was in 1939.
I see. And then after that, previous representation or previous speakers here said that they couldn't really maintain their farms unless they had traffic and fishing in the Primrose Lake area. So my question is, what happened to the farms? Where are they now?
Well, when the people got older, you know, like the ones that used to farm, when all these people retired, they were all on old age pension. Well, and they lost their strength and everything to carry on, so they just let the land go, and nobody seemed to carry on from there. I mean, when you don't have the money, especially today, the price of all the machinery, gosh, you've got to have something. You've got to have money if you want to run any kind of a farm. And so the only thing really was, to me, I think cattle would have been okay. Because the cattle, at least that you only, all you need is feed. And at least if you can't sell it, you can eat it. So you could still eat cattle. But you know, the farming, that I think is out of the question now. You've got to have a lot of money to farm. Because even the big farmers, I know, we know a lot of these farmers around here. And you know, we were very close to them too. They came to our church, and when we needed something, we went to them. Lots of times they came to us too. When they wanted fish, we traded. And we really got along with all these people around here. And so we were really never stuck for anything. When we needed help, it was there. And we all of us, we help each other. When someone had nothing to eat, he was not afraid to come and say, you know, I need some food. We shared. That was a good life. We shared. Today, we don't share. We have too many, maybe we have too many children, I don't know. But we have to share with our children. We still do that. I still do that. And so does all the mothers, I'm sure, that are left. Everything they have, they share it.
You also mentioned that your late husband went to work in the Thai camps after he could no longer fish in the Primrose Lake area. Do you remember if there was any special assistance given to the trappers or fishermen after they couldn't work in the Primrose Lake area by Indian Affairs or any other federal government department in terms of employment creation, economic development, or even training, anything of that nature? Is there any special programs?
No, I don't remember anything like that.
Thank you.
Commissioner Prentice, do you have any questions?
Yes. There was a settlement on the south side of Primrose Lake, which one of the earlier witnesses, I believe, called it Zuckerville. He described it as. Did people from the Cold Lake First Nation travel up there sometimes in the summer? Did the community go up there on occasion?
Well, some of them went to 100, but not, I don't know. I couldn't say if they stayed up there. Well, the reason for not going back was like Ernest said, that they didn't like to disturb the animals up there. Too, this was the reason why, that they couldn't be there all the year long.
Thank you very much.
And if you'll a little more patience, I think there's a few more questions that we have from Mr. Henderson.
I just wanted to ask, I know you were involved with the committee that helped to generate what turned out to be the last payment. Were you present with your husband when the releases were signed?
No.
You weren't there? No. Okay. I just wanted to inquire that. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
The sad part, too, was that the bar opened that year we got that first thing. That didn't help matters, you know. Like I say in Saskatchewan, it wasn't far, 20 minutes drive, you were there. But you know, this was something new to these people too. So, you know, supposing they didn't open that liquor for them then, maybe it wouldn't have been so bad off. But that had to come with it, I guess. I don't know. But there's where there was a lot of trouble too. Drinking.
Okay, now, unless you have something in addition that you'd like to tell us, if there isn't, on behalf of the Commission, I would, like the others, like to thank you for you taking the time and having the patience to listen and answer our questions and telling us what in many cases are obviously very fond memories on your part. And we appreciate you taking the time to come here and educate us with your information. Thank you very much. You can be excused.
You're very welcome. And anything that I have not said, probably one of the others will be somewhere along.
I think you need to trouble yourself with that. You've been very proper. Thank you.
So anyway, I would like to thank everyone for listening to me. And like I say, if anything is to come out of this, if I'm living, I want to hear it. Thank you very much.
Very welcome. Now what I would like to do is, before we adjourn this part of the hearing, just to remind everyone there's been just one minor change. We are now going to adjourn. We will reconvene at 4 o'clock, and then we will carry on to approximately 6 or shortly thereafter. So with that, let me just say this part of the hearing is adjourned. Thank you.
Having dinner here, and before we eat, we'll have the elders say this again. Yeah, we'll get the visitors and the commissioners and the lawyers up first for dinner. And don't forget those translators' earphones to return. Okay. I'll get the elders to say grace for us. Thank you. Much is Cuando no tiene razón, no hay razón, yo le dije así, o si no trabajo de higiene, amas y no en esta hora. Hay yo también, te no hay que nada dicho, o que lo sé,
Merci.
Ron, would you call the next witness?
Thank you, Mayor. The next witness is Catherine Ness. Well, Ms. Ness, for the record, I'm just going to spell your name and confirm whether that's correct for me. It's Catherine Ness, N-E-S-T.
Yes,
Could you tell us your age, please?
I'm 60 years old.
And what was your residence around 1950?
In 1950, we lived in Cold Lake.
And you continue to live at Cold Lake?
Well, after my husband passed away in '82, I moved to the city where my children were. But off and on I came back, and I have been living in Cold Lake since about April of this year.
Prior to the Air Force, or the Air Weapons Range coming in, could you tell us about what life was like prior to that time?
I wanted to tell my story since I was very little. My dad died when I was 2 years old. But my mother and dad must have lived in the bombing range because my sister Hazel was born in Primrose, December the 9th, 1929. So we benefit by all this bombing range which they are talking about now. And about my life, there wasn't too much because I was 2 years old when my dad died. And my cousin Larry Francois, who was a trapper and a hunter, and he provided a lot for us. And we look forward to Christmas and Easter when he'd come back with his furs and the meat and the fish, whatever they had got from the bombing range, and they shared everything with us. I remember one year I must have been about 12 years old, and they came back with a lot of fur. And my cousin bought me a beautiful coat. It had a fur collar, and this is something that I don't think anybody will wipe out of my mind because it was so nice, and knowing that it had come from the furs, which we are discussing now, the bombing range. But in my mind, I was happy, look forward
for my cousin to come home because he shared everything with us. And then later years, I married my husband, Solomon Ness, and he was a good tracker and a hunter. But I didn't go to the bombing range or go hunting with him at that time because I had 9 children to raise and look after them, but my husband always provided good for us. The 30 years that I was married, I never woke up in the day or in the morning to think there was no food because he done a good job looking after us.
What happened after the rain came in? How did you go with it after that?
Well, my husband didn't have trapper's license, or he didn't have fishing license, but his father had license, and he used to go with his father to the bombing range and do the hunting, trapping, everything. And when they sold their fur, he must have taken half for doing the work and let his dad take the other share of the money. But he never had the license to trap or hunt. But all of these years that I had lived with him, he was always a hunter and a trapper, and this is the way we raise our children, off the wildlife. And I am still doing the same thing, hunting and fishing. That's the way I was taught.
Did your husband continue to hunt and trap after the range was created?
He went in to do trapping for beaver in about 1955. Him and his cousin Simon Ness sneaked in the bombing range to go down the Martineau River. And I remember they had got about 20 beaver overnight. And this was the only way we could get something, or they had to make a living somehow. So I remember the time when he went in there. He wasn't supposed to, but he brought in 20 beaver pelts, a moose, and I was happy to get whatever they brought him. And he went fishing, and they opened up for Christmas and New Year's. This must have been about 1964 when they went in the bombing range and they went fishing. They were allowed to go fishing then, so he went. That was all on his dad's license that he was doing the work. His dad was old, and he did most of the work for him.
Did your husband do anything else after the range closed, aside from hunting and trapping and some fishing at Christmas time?
Well, that's the time I remember is when they went for fishing. And then there was this other time that I said that he went in the springtime to get beaver. And I remember he came in with about 20 beaver pelts. That was good money then, so
Did you make the same type of living after the ranch was created?
He done a lot of work here and there. He worked for the council here on this reserve in about 1965. And if he wasn't working here, he would be working elsewhere. He even went ocean fishing, so he must have been doing a lot of different ways of life in order to feed our children.
You say he was ocean fishing? Where was he doing this?
He went ocean fishing in Prince Rupert, 1966, 67. And I think he went there 2 years after, would be about 69. He'd go back and forth. When the season would open up over there, he went sea fishing. He tried everything in order to make a living for me and my family.
You mentioned that your husband did not hold a registered trap line, but that he had hunted under his father's trap line, is that correct?
Yes.
Did your husband ever receive any compensation?
No, he didn't. His dad did, but we didn't get anything.
Do you recall your husband ever attending any meetings with Indian Affairs or the Department of National Defense where compensation was discussed?
He attended a lot of meetings, but we didn't discuss too much of this. I was home with the children, trying to raise my children, but as far as I can remember, I think they had talked about meetings because he had to talk to my father-in-law about things like this to translate what was going on when they were taking this payment for the bombing range. And my father-in-law didn't understand too good in English, so he would talk to him about this. And when the meeting was discussed, he talked to his dad about this money they were getting for the trap line. And he told his dad, he said, this payment is for the trap line. And they were told it was leased for 20 years. This is the way he talked to his dad. So I think they understood it like this. It was leased for 20 years, and the money they got then was for their traps and but they didn't get very much. I think my father-in-law had got about $400, so it wasn't worth sharing with anybody. And when all this payment was going on, I could see people going back and forth to Bonneval, getting furniture, everything. And I just look out the window and my husband says, as long as my hands and my feet are all right, I'll do the best I can for you. He said that money they'd get wouldn't last very long, which it didn't. That must have been just a small payment for a lot of people that worked hard.
Going back to your husband and your father, when they were trapping You mentioned that they used to share, or how did your husband earn income?
Well, he went on the track line with his dad, and he used to set the snares and the traps with his dad. And when the furs that were brought in and sold, they shared the money.
How much percentage would your husband get back?
It just depends. I think when the fur market was high, they got good money, but when the fur market was low, it wasn't too much. But we had, when I first got married, I lived with my father-in-law and my mother-in-law for about 2 years. And when they were trapping up north in the summertime, we could get credit. In the wintertime, when they come in with their furs, it went to the stores to pay up the bills.
I believe those are all the questions I have. Mrs. Ness, if there are any other information you'd like to tell the commissioners, anything else that you could think of, please go ahead.
Well, like I said, this is the best I could do, because being an orphan at 2 years old, and I went to a residential school when I was 5 years old. So the rest of my life, after I was married, my husband did a lot of hunting and fishing for our way of life. But the reason why I wanted to say this was because this bombing range must have been going on for years, because my sister Hazel was born in Primrose Lake in 1929. That was December the 9th. So, talking about land claims, I told my sister, you should be there claiming your land. She's not here now, she's not feeling good, so I thought on her behalf I would mention this. And there was somebody that said they had built a church in Primrose in 1929, and that's where my sister Hazel was baptized, in that little church. She's older than me, so I can't recall anything. And besides, my dad died when I was 2 years old.
I'm going to call upon the Chief Commissioner to ask any questions if he has any.
Yes, thank you, Mrs. Nash. I'm sure that there's one or two questions, and we'll ask you to be patient. If you need some water or anything, by all means. You mentioned I'm a little bit curious about this. In 1955, you said that your husband snuck back into the range and trapped 20 beaver and caught a moose. Did you have any idea what would happen, or do you know what would have happened if he would have been caught?
Yes.
What would have happened?
Well, that he might have had a charge against him.
To your knowledge, did that ever happen to anyone?
No. I know he was the only one, him and Simon, the both of them went, but they didn't go on land. They had a canoe and they traveled on the river, the Martineau River.
And as far as if they would have been charged, do you know what that would have meant to them? Do you know what would have happened to them if they would have been charged? Do you have any idea?
Yes, I can understand that, how the law would have went against him.
Okay. Those are all the questions I have, Mrs. Ness. Perhaps Commissioner Prentice may have one or two.
Just one question, Mrs. Ness. What was your husband's name, please?
My husband's name was Solomon Ness, and he passed away in 1982, New Year's Eve.
Thank you very much for your help.
Mr. Dauber? I just want to pursue a bit the idea of your cousin would come back at Easter and at Christmas time with furs and fish and game meat and would share it with yourself and with other members of the community.
He shared with my mother, and there was, after my dad died, there was my brother Francis, my sister Hazel, and me and my mother. But they used to look after my cousin's cattle, horses. So when he came back, he would share whatever he made with us. He was a good provider for us. I really appreciate what he had done. I can recall a lot of things that he did for us.
So, whatever happened at Primrose during that time was linked very closely with the community of Cold Lake. You couldn't really separate the two communities as such. They were almost like one. Is that right?
Yes, it was just like one, because it wasn't only me and my family. I think when people came back from the north, everybody was happy. Everybody had a good life. Everybody shared. This I can recall. When people came back for Christmas, I think was really the happiest time. You could hear sleigh bells going to midnight mass. New Year's, people would make a big feast. It was really a nice life, and now it seems like all our tradition, culture is just fading out of our hands. Nobody knows to appreciate anything nowadays. I find that very hard to discuss.
Okay, we'll leave that for a second. The commission, the compensation paid was paid to individuals who happened to be trapping at that time. If they didn't have a license from the year before, that's just too bad. They didn't get any compensation at all. No compensation was paid for fishermen, and no compensation was paid to the community. But just to individuals, though. That's how it works.
The ones that had trapper's license and fisherman's license were the ones getting the money. My husband went with his dad on his trap line, did most of the hunting and the trapping, and he didn't get anything.
That's unjust in your opinion.
Yes, it is.
Thank you.
Okay. I would like to take this opportunity, unless you have something further that you would like to tell us that you think we ought to know about.
Well, there isn't too much, because when they had that bombing range, I wasn't in the trapping or anything. I stayed home raising my 9 children. So whatever they made with furs And the meat they brought back, we made use of all that. My husband was a good hunter and a good fisherman. But we didn't get any money for this. But I think this was our way of life.
Well, the way you describe it, it sounds marvelous, and we want to just say that we thank you very, very much for taking the time and being patient with us and telling us your story and educating us and answering our questions. Thank you very much, Mrs. Ness. You can be excused.
Okay, thank you.
The next witness is Victor Machadas. Mr. Machadas, I'm just going to spell your last name and you can confirm whether that's correct. Machadis?
Yeah.
And how old are you, sir?
73.
And are you a resident of the Cold Lake?
Yes.
And where did you live around 1950?
Spring Lake. South of West Calgary. Spring Lake.
Were you in the Cold Lake area around the time of the creation of the Primrose bombing range?
I've been in Primrose now and then. I never stayed home and wait for welfare. I had to look for work someplace. Is that for your questions or you want more of that?
No, I understand that you did live in this area though, since you were probably a young lad. Maybe you could tell us a little bit about what life was like before the
Well, my whole life is very nice to hear.
Maybe you'd like to tell us a little bit about it.
I've been here and there ever since I was old enough to handle myself and stay by myself and still stay by myself. And furthermore, I was only in the army for 6 months. I had polished brass and I didn't like to kill anybody. So I didn't make it to overseas and I came out and went to Northern Wells and worked for with Americans there for 18 months. When I came back here, stayed for a while. And looking for a job, I've been all over. So I landed in 1950, Spring Lake, Rocky Mountain. You name it, I've been in there.
Prior to the creation of the bombing range, did you ever do any hunting, fishing, or trapping in that area?
I had a trap line in Alberta side.
Could you tell us a little bit about what life was like back then?
Well, it's more or less like it's a livelihood for us. Like, if you don't go look for something for yourself, you didn't have to wait for welfare. There was no welfare them days, no child support. And whatever you want to get, you go for it.
When did you first go into the Primrose Lake area?
Oh, around 8 or 9.
Who did you go with?
I went with my grandfather, my grandmother. I was raised by my grandfather and grandmother.
How did your grandfather make a living?
Well, my grandfather made a living. That was his home base there at Primrose. Because they lived in there before the white people at Primrose. They never found this place till the guy that signed treaty found an open water by Cold Lake